All right. Welcome. Well, wait a second. It says something here. Deleted on Facebook. What does that mean? Oh,
Well,
we
I don't
didn't too
know.
long on Facebook. It's no problem. We'll get to Facebook later. Okay, guys, we're so happy about Growth Monday. Glad you're here with us. I'm so happy about Mondays, and one of the reasons why I'm so happy about Mondays is to get to talk about growth. Have great guests on the show, and today is no exception. I have the great Lila Smith, Master Coach, on today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rollis. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know about her, if you haven't seen my show before, I've actually had Lila on a couple of times. Every time it's a great show. She really helps people to say things better. That's kind of her whole thing is say things better. And I'm sure you'll tell us more about that. But she's helped me to actually say things better, whether it comes to LinkedIn recommendations, how to communicate things better in written form as well. Today, we're going to kind of really delve more into the interview side, but I think this can actually be used from a sales perspective too, because sometimes people will say, tell me about yourself. And so how do you answer that question? Sometimes like, we don't know what to say. We don't know how long it should be. Is it too long? Is it too short? What do you want to know? So it's kind of sometimes a little bit of an awkward situation. And then I asked Lila, we were having a conversation about this, and she talked about this program she has that will help us to do that. So we want to talk about that, and then also some general principles about what we can say when someone asks you, tell me about yourself. So Lila, tell me about yourself.
So funny. Everybody has a hard time talking about ourselves, because we don't have the objectivity. We're inside the jar, unable to read the label on the outside.
Yes.
So when you ask me to talk about myself, I'm like, I don't know. Didn't you just do that? Can't I just get a pass? It's so easy for you to talk about me.
Yeah.
And it would be so easy for me to talk about you. But if I just try without any kind of useful tools to come up with something to say about myself, I'm like, I guess I'm a nice person. I have a lot of energy. I still can't cleanly peel a hard-boiled egg. I don't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
exactly.
Is that what people want to know? No, I mean, people can tell I'm energetic when they talk to me. They can pick up on that stuff. But what they might not know, and the stuff I want them to know, is what I bring to the table that I want them to pick up. I want them to pass around. I want them to share. And I want them to come back for more. So I help other people to articulate those things, because it means a lot to me that people believe in themselves, what their own value really is, and have the words to use to speak to it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What I want to do is I want to take this same subject and I want to put it in the setting of, let's say, a job interview, and then in the setting of maybe you're meeting someone for the first time, and because it comes up all the time, they'll say, tell me a little bit about yourself. And by the way, we got Joe. I think it's Joe. It says LinkedIn user, but I think it's Joe who's chiming in. So thank you. He's coming from Oregon. Yeah. And then we have Joanne, of course, as well. Okay. So, by the way, you're one of the ones who taught me to talk about how I like to explore, appreciate, and encourage others. And that's kind of just, it kind of rolls off a little bit more now than it used to, because I was like myself until going through one of your workshops. Okay.
That's from Verb Your Values.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's put this in the context of a job interview. And folks, that you're watching, this isn't necessarily getting this job that you're in. It could be you going for that next promotion. Maybe you're meeting an executive for the first time, or you're meeting a manager of another department for the first time. It's a department you want to get into. And this invariably is going to come up is, hey, tell me about yourself. So what's a good framework we can start with in terms of when we get into that framework of what we're going to say when we're going to be asked? And this is one thing we're doing too, folks, is we're preparing ahead of time. Don't wait to that moment to figure out what to say.
Right. Okay, I think
so
it's helpful if you start organizing the different parts of yourself and taking some inventory. What do I have that's different from what other people have? And how, in combination, do these different elements of me create one unique contribution? And then you can kind of describe that in a simple statement. And then when you're thinking about that statement, use it to find stories from your life, from your professional career that align with that statement. stories that prove the thing that you said.
Ooh, I
People
like
always want to, talk about yourself. And
Exactly.
you can say things to someone, but it's a lot stronger if you show it.
I love that. And we also have Lynn Garver coming in from Pittsburgh. Thank you for being here. And Robert Berry, I think Robert's coming from here in Houston. So thank you for being here as well, Robert. And so for those of you who are just joining, we're getting into the conversation now. We're getting the thoughts of how do we open up with when someone asks, tell me about yourself. So whether you're in a job interview setting, you're meeting an executive or a manager for the first time, and you want to share with them a little bit about yourself, we're going to come up with some ideas and brainstorm kind of a framework. So I love when you first said, what is that value that you're bringing to the table? And then you're saying a story to back up or kind of help prove that value. Is that right? Uh-oh. It's froze, but I tell you, Lynn, that was great.
There we go.
Lila, that was great the way you froze, because it froze when you were a perfect smile. Normally when it freezes on me, I'm just like, something crazy.
This is one of the tools of the trade, right? Always look like this in case you get snapped in a candid moment.
Exactly. That was perfect.
That's my Zoom tip of the day.
Always smile, guys. If you don't learn
Look like
anything else,
a crazy person by default.
smile. Okay, so no, I was just asking you. I was asking you for some affirmation here that we're talking about. The first thing you want to think about when you're going to mention or tell about yourself is to talk about that value you bring to the table, and then you also mention a story. Think of a story that helps to back that up. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
So you don't always have a long time, right? If you don't have a long time, if you just have a few seconds, you say, oh, I'm the person who, right? And then you want something pretty short to say. So if people are watching today, we can guide them through crafting something like this on your own while you're at home and drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Rollis, you can pick out one to read and we can
let's do it.
work with that as well. So maybe Robert Berry would be a good person to play along if he's got the time.
Yeah, Robert.
He's always up for
absolutely
impromptu fun.
We guys,
Lynn.
if you're gonna go ahead and do it now, put it in the comments and help us out. Tell us what you do, and if there's something that you can mention that you already have thought of, something a value you bring to the table, we might help you walk through. I say we. I mean, it's a royal we. It's really Lila. It's going to help you walk through that. And thank you, Courtney Harris from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's here as well. So thank you for that.
Hey. Yeah, let us know. Write some kind of a draft, and let's assume that it's going to be terrible. No one's is going to be any good.
There you go.
No one's is on the first draft. So send me your worst.
Okay. So
write some kind of introduction.
Now, while we're waiting, I did take part of this UMAP. In fact, I didn't do the main assessment, but I did the other 3 inventories. I've done that.
Okay, well, that's great. So tell me what you got so far. For those who don't know yet what UMAP is, it's a 4-pillar system of self-awareness and career fit. So it gives you your strengths, which are what you're naturally good at, the things that no one can teach you. I wish that someone could just teach me to love research, teach me to be very analytical and think through the data of something naturally. I wish that someone could teach me all kinds of things that happen to be at the bottom of my strengths. I'm not a natural problem solver. I'm a natural strategist. And those are different things.
Yes.
So if you think about what you are versus what you aren't, that stuff you are. Those are your strengths. Those are your superpowers.
Yes. And I went through that. It helped reaffirm a lot of things that I know about myself. I'm kind of like you with some of this analytical, detailed research and all that. That just makes my brain hurt.
It's a little right. And if you live for that stuff, more power to you.
Exactly.
If you're like, oh, goody, an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
You are my people who I might hire. Are you my people as in the people who think like me? No.
Right.
So thank goodness there are different kinds of people out there in the world, because it really takes all kinds.
There you go. Now, Robert.
So your strengths are that first piece, right?
Yep.
Oh, does Robert have something?
Robert has something here. Let's pull him up.
Let's hear
Joanne,
it.
can you pull up Robert? I'm the person who helps auditors. Let's pull him up on the screen here. This is what we're going to work with. Yes, I'm the person who helps auditors build better relationships by asking better questions.
That's pretty good. And we have a life coach, business coach. Let me see Colleen's.
Yeah, go back to Colleen's too. We're going to do that one too. We're going to take both of these.
Let's take all of them. I'm a life coach, business coach, and confidential sounding board for doctors so they can enjoy being doctors.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I'm seeing the work that you do, the function, right? The what. One of the things that I love about Colleen's is the word enjoy. Another thing, let's pull hers back up.
Yeah, pull hers back up for a second. We're going to come back to you, Robert.
Because what I'm getting from Colleen's here is a little bit of the feeling of what she tries to give people and not just the function of it. I understand from what Robert said what he's going to teach someone to do, but I don't understand what it feels like to work with Robert from what I read so far. A confidential sounding board. One, confidential is a very important word for HIPAA compliant doctors, right? So right there you have good language for sales, but it also tells me something about Colleen as a person. It tells me that she values privacy, that she takes responsibility personally for creating safe space, and that she is a sounding board. It tells me that she values connection and listening and feedback and growth. So I hear a lot about Colleen from what she said. Now I know Robert, and so do you, right? So we're at a bit of an advantage here. If we're talking about Robert Berry, what's one of the things that you know, Rollis, about the energy he brings to a space?
So Robert, he defies what I thought an auditor, what that type of personality would be like, right?
What was that?
Is this just straight down to business, just the facts, ma'am? Let's don't do a lot of warm up talking here. Let's just get to the point. Whereas he's not that way at all. He's very inquisitive.
What do you mean? He's inquisitive. He wants to know what?
He wants to ask the best questions to get to his result and form relationships. He likes to form relationships with people when he's doing these auditing things to make him feel.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So he's a relationship builder. And what is the impact of building those relationships with the auditors he works with?
Well, when he's auditing, when he's working with a client, he's able to get more information than he would if everybody had their guards up.
Yeah.
Build a relationship, he wouldn't be able to get the same information as he gets, with the way he handles it this way.
Yeah. So how does that help them in the long run?
It helps them to get to the root of their problem, because the reason they're bringing an auditor is usually there's an issue they're trying to fix.
Yeah. So I help you find the underlying issues so that you never have to bring in an auditor again, right? I build relationships with my clients. I go in deep with you. It's a lot of fun. I know him to be funny. I know him to make jokes.
Yes.
I know him to make it the most enjoyable audit you'll ever have.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
So if I'm Robert, I would lead with that. I would lead with, the least dry experience of an audit you'll ever experience. Or audit now, buy you a lemonade later. If somebody says, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And I'm Robert, I don't just want them to know I help these people do this thing. But why do questions matter? For Robert, it's not just about doing the best job for them, it's about building the best relationship. And so that's what I would say. I'm Robert Berry. I build relationships with auditors to help them build relationships with their clients. And at the end of the day, we've all had a good time. We've all learned what's really at the bottom of the problem. And no one has to call each other ever again.
Now,
I'm a
look,
one and done.
there you go. Well, you know, he says, wait a minute, then I won't have a job.
Isn't it? Yeah, but if you don't have that job, how fast do you think that word of mouth is going to come? Right?
There you go. There you go.
You don't need that one job forever. You just need to come in, be Robert Berry, and go.
There you go. I love it. That is so true. Referral business, sometimes we underestimate that. He says an enjoyable audit. He's like, does that exist? You know what? I think I like what you're saying. He could defy their logic by saying this can actually be the most enjoyable audit you've ever experienced.
Yeah, and I bet it, and it's true, right? He knows he can say that confidently.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of people want to sell themselves by using language that they see other people using. Oh, those people are successful, you know, saying, what a team player. What if you value autonomy and you're an individual contributor and you like to go off and think about things on your own, process, and come back with the thing that people need to know to have a better outcome. Say that. Say, I'm the one you can give the problem to. I take it away, I solve it, and I come back to you with it solved.
Yeah.
Some people will really want that. I want that.
Okay, now I just heard there's some reverb on my microphone. So
oh, yeah?
Is it my microphone or is it Lila's microphone or both? Let me put on my headphones.
Let's see. I'll freeze like this just in case.
Yes. Okay. So I just put on my headphones. Let me know, guys, if that's better.
Thanks for the feedback on the
feedback.
feedback.
We love that. Okay. All right. So also we got another person, Benjamin. He says he loves Excel. So what?
God bless you, Benjamin.
So what?
So Benjamin, write in the comments what you have used Excel for that people might not think about.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I want to know what you love about it. What is your favorite piece of it? I'm the guy who loves creating pivot tables for grocery lists. You know, I love Excel so much. I use it for.
There we go.
Yeah. So we're talking about our strengths, right? Like how you're naturally maybe not the analytical person, but you're a maximizer. You want to bring out the most, the best. You want good things to be great. You want great things to be excellent. You want excellent things to be mind-blowing. And so what more can I bring in? I bet you're a learner, you know, always trying to take in and learn and produce high quality for people that you work with, for the people in your life. And I've got woo, which means when I walk into a room, people notice it. I've got positivity, which means you usually leave a conversation with me feeling pretty good. I've got communication, which means I can put things into words that other people struggle with. I've got activator in my top 5 strengths, which means I'm ready to go right now, and I make you feel like you're ready to go right now too. You know?
Right.
And yeah, and I've got strategic, so I think really quickly. And so those are the top strengths for me.
Love those, and I've observed all of those. Now, I noticed in the comments they're saying it's actually your microphone, but let me ask you this: yeah, in the comments, is it very pronounced or is it just a slight echo? So I don't know if there's a way. I just don't want to mess up the vibe. We got this thing going here.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, I've got my AirPods and I can take them out and just use the volume, you know, the mic on this, but
maybe
we'll
should
see.
Do that. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Try that.
Sure. If they're out, they should be off.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You sound pretty good. Now, guys, in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Does it sound a little bit better that way? We want to make sure we can fully hear what she's saying because she's the star of the show today.
Oh gosh.
Okay. All right. So going back to this is how I'm mentally processing what you said. And for those who are just joining, this may help them too. To me, as far as figuring out how we tell someone about ourselves is what value that you bring to the table, maybe a story that helps to back up that value in some way. But then you also talked about some qualities and things that you value. So what do we value? And then maybe how to express that. Now, once we've determined what we value, how do you take it to that next step?
So if you know that you value privacy, and creating a confidential space. What is the thing that you can do to a person to make sure that they know that you're going to be able to do that? You might want to set your intention to receive. So let's say you're sharing content or you're in a discussion, then you'll say, I'm the person that people bring things to. I'm the vault. You use some kind of, people bring things to me and I'm Vegas. What happens in my office stays in my office. Right. Bring up something that you think is going to be the most important thing to the people that you're talking to that is unique to you. That not every person who does your job does it the way you do it or feels the way that you feel to work with. So highlight those things that are different about you whenever you're talking about the thing that you actually do. So it's not just function, it's also the person. Yes. It's the how you work. Those are the strengths. It's the, and everybody wants to use their powers for good, right? But values are the good. It's how you define what you want to do with the things you're naturally good at. And then the skills are that what? The skills are the function of your job.
Okay, I got another aha moment of what you just said. And one of those things is that, and I've done this for a long time, I'll describe it in a way that's similar to other people who do my same service.
Right.
And we're doing ourselves a disservice when we're doing that. You're saying find unique ways to explain what you do, even though you're doing something maybe that could be perceived as similar. You want to make sure you're describing it in a unique way. Am I catching that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because no one else is you. People hire people that they like or that they vibe with, but sometimes they also just hire the person they know they can trust to feel a certain way to work with. Not just they do this function and not just, they've gotten these results for people before, but am I going to hate that hour of my day when I have to work with this person? Or am I going to look forward to it?
Right.
Not everybody wants my energy. I'm a lot. So some people would prefer, somebody who doesn't come in and energize a space. They would prefer someone who comes in and creates calm.
Ah, right.
I'm not. I come in and I, light the place on fire. But somebody else might say, I come in and I take chaos and turn it into calm.
Yeah.
By, and then doing the thing. I love this. Colleen, who's a life coach, so it also helps that she, of course, has this language to help people describe themselves, right? I'm the person people feel safe with, so safe that they can be themselves. And now I hear that Colleen values authenticity, right? That she values being yourself.
Yes.
And it's a problem for people that she solves. You feel you can't be safe somewhere else. What she's showing you is you can be yourself here. She's not describing the problem. She's describing the solution.
Love that. Okay, and then Robert, he also came back with this. Okay, making audits more. Now, this is a little bit more timid than what you said. Because you said like it's the most enjoyable experience, most enjoyable audit you've ever had.
But that's how I might say it, right? I don't know that Robert speaks in hyperbole the way that I do.
Well, that's a point. That's a point I want to drill down on. Should you be more authentic to yourself in terms of how you want to describe it, or should you be a little extra?
Always yourself. If you are not extra, do not try to be extra. Let people hear your voice, and then the right people are going to be the ones who really want to hear it.
That's a clip right there too. I like that.
I love this. Making audits more enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what else too? I think you know what else this does. What I like about Robert saying is that maybe a person who is an auditor by heart may have that level of disbelief anyway, and so maybe he's building more trust by not being too extra and just saying it's going to be more enjoyable than the last time you had it.
Right. Listen, I appreciate that. The name of my company is not Say Things Perfectly. It's Say Things Better.
That's a good point.
No, we're not trying to be perfect. And let's be honest, your audit is not a Bermuda vacation.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't come with a straw. It's not served in a pineapple.
Right, exactly. Okay, all right.
Making audits more enjoyable. Or you can, and let's talk about the kind of audits.
Okay.
Do you worry that your audience might think, okay, he's all about the fun, but then he's going to sacrifice the accuracy, right? making the most informative audits also the most enjoyable, might combat that objection ahead of time. So that's something else that your introductions can do.
Okay, so I have to do a fun question. And guys, I want to reset the room here for a second and just say that what I want you to do is put in what you value, okay? Things that you value, or put in the things that you bring to the table. We'll put it in the chat if you haven't already. And we're going to kind of break some of those things down and just give you some ideas on how you might be able to leverage that when someone asks you, tell me about yourself. So let's do that. But then I also have a question I want to ask you. All right. So, Lila, you ready?
I'm always ready for you.
What's the most surprising thing that ever happened to you?
I got stuck in an elevator, a freight elevator once on tour with a national tour of a children's show. We were doing Anne Frank, and we were in, I think it was Kansas, and we were in this theater / other things space, and they had these older freight elevators, and half of our cast, who were also assistant stage managers, putting up the set, doing the sound, doing the lights, doing the costumes, and then going on stage and doing the show. So we got stuck in this freight elevator with half of the cast already out and putting some costumes up, steaming them, and plugging in the lights. But we had in the elevator our entire sound system and our whole set, major like big flats of things that were closed, and it takes up a lot of room in the elevator. And then the other actors, like the 6 of us who were there, are pressed up against the walls of the elevator surrounding our set. And, and we're stuck. And it takes a while. And one of my friends, Holly, she had vertigo and began having this vertigo attack in the elevator. Panic and anxiety and vertigo. And we can't even physically reach her because the set is in between all of the people there. So we're trying to breathe together and talk together and give her a chance to have privacy, even though we're all stuck there. That was pretty surprising that happened.
I'll say.
Yeah. The most surprising thing, though, that came from that is that the show went on. Like, as soon as we were out of that elevator, we realized that we didn't need everything we had to tell that story. We didn't have the time to set up that whole set. We just had to go in and tell the story. We barely got costumes on. Everyone wore one costume for the whole show, no changes. And the students who had come to see us and hear the story of Anne Frank or Anna Frank, they didn't feel that anything was missing.
There's so many lessons in that. There's so many lessons in that story. Wow. I love that. Okay, that's great. So I got a couple of things I want to bring up. I got some more comments that have come up. And anybody else, if you have a funny elevator story, feel free and share it. But I love that because sometimes we do so much packing and planning and all this, and sometimes it's some of the most random, off-the-cuff things that can happen that we just don't expect. It ends up being the best we've ever done. That's
when you don't have time to overthink it, right? When you're just good in an emergency, and also thinking about everything that we're trying to do to prepare ourselves for success, when the people who are in the room are really just looking for what we already have with us.
Yeah.
They didn't need everything. If you're going to an interview, thinking about it from that perspective, even if they say, oh, we need you to have this many years experience in a hospital, of this many employees or leading a team of this many people. But if you show up and you are the person and you can do the job, and they hear stories that illustrate that is very often enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to just go and get more degrees, more certifications to convince people of things you've already done.
Yeah. And when you were in the room with this person who's having this crisis, you're connecting with her and trying to help her and not focusing so much about, oh my God, we're in an elevator, we're going to be late.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It kind of shifted the focus in the room. All right, Robert, he's got something up here. I just put up on the screen for you. Value honesty, respect for my fellow man, and efficiency.
Great. So if I'm Robert, and I value honesty, and you're doing audits or helping auditors, I would say giving it to you straight, telling you the things that no one else will, that will help you, out of respect for you, out of respect for my peers. I know that you don't need sandwiched feedback. You just want to improve, and I will give it to you straight and fast so that you know what to do to get there faster.
I love that you said sandwich feedback. Okay, you have to tell this. Tell the audience, for those who might not know what it is, what is sandwich feedback?
When you put the meat in the middle of two fluffy pieces of bread, and what happens is that they get, full after a few bites and they can't take all the meat. So that might mean, I've noticed this wonderful thing and you're so good at this. However, if you could just change this one thing, but don't worry about it too much because other white piece of fluffy, nutritionless bread, right? And so the message that they are left with is whatever that thing is you said last. And they often forget how important it is, what the stakes are, and what the action is they need to be taking following the feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of sandwiched feedback. I'm a fan of, giving the meat.
Yeah.
Someone on TikTok would have a field day with that.
Okay, so guys in the comments, do you guys believe in sandwich feedback? I used to believe in that, but I try not to follow it. Here's another thing too from that, Lila, is that if people learn your formula. So if you've done it more than once and they hear you praise them about something, they're waiting, uh-oh.
That's
for the
right.
feedback. I'm waiting for the,
That's such
okay,
a good
something's
point.
coming.
That is such a good point. Yep.
Because they know our patterns better than we do.
Yep. I used to
see
get
'em.
phone calls from my boss every day. And I would hear the phone ring, and now I'm still triggered by hearing the ring of a phone. I used to get phone calls, and I'd hear, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, God. Because I know what's coming next.
Exactly.
Let me find the thing to pick apart and attack and tell you you're no good at, right?
Benjamin, I don't know what he means. He says Kansas is very scary. I don't know.
That's where the elevator was.
Oh.
So, yeah. Continuity high five, Benjamin.
Oh, very good, Benjamin.
Yeah, not a lot good happened there in the Wizard of Oz. I mean.
Okay, here's Bo. Thank you, Bo. Bo has a comment here. So
Nice.
I'll
Ooh,
let you
thoroughly
internalize that.
prepared. Yes. Experienced. Positive, enthusiastic, CCM, focused on patient advocacy and truly making a difference in elevating healthcare through the therapeutic use of self and ethical stewardship of resources. Why? I can't improve that.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Bo. Oh, my goodness,
Yeah.
Bo. If Lila can't improve what you just said, then you're good. You're really good.
I mean, if anything, the word experienced is redundant by the time people hear about you. They know you've had a certain level of experience.
Right.
And you can say you're experienced, but a lot of people have experience not doing a good job. So I would say if you take that little piece and if you wanted to say something, if I can give you any feedback that might be useful, it's, I have a history of results of, and then explain what that might be.
Oh, you know what else too? Maybe, possibly, is the result, right? Because you talked about a story.
Mm-hmm.
So having a story that shows that she can do what she just said.
Yeah, like for example, or I recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so Robert agrees with you. He likes to eat his sandwiches. But when it comes to but when it comes to sandwich counseling or feedback or whatever, this is what
I think the feedback should be ongoing, right? So there shouldn't be a point of sandwiching it because the good stuff should also be ongoing. Positive recognition should be something you get all the time. And so should straightforward feedback.
Yes.
If you live and work in a feedback culture, then there's not a reason to serve it to somebody strategically. You just create that open wave of communication.
But it doesn't mean we have to be rude about it, right? We can still be nice.
We can always be nice. If you verb your values, and your values are to be kind, then maybe to befriend is one of your values.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this right here, Lila. Look at that.
Oh, hey, Bo. Listen, Bo, connect with me and let me know how your interview goes. Send me a direct message and follow up. And I'd love to help you with what to say when you follow up with them based on what your experience was.
Bo's going to be ready. She's going to knock him dead. Okay. And Colleen.
Of course she is. Yeah.
She says, I contract to not tiptoe. Okay. Contract. Yes. Yeah, that really firms it up. I contract
I
with
love
you.
those words. I contract to not tiptoe.
Ooh, that is strong. That's powerful, Colleen. I like
this
that.
Is funny. You don't have to pack the feedback in useless packaging. Can we take all packaging? Oh man, and just really ask ourselves if it's necessary.
Too often the bread and the sandwich is nonsense.
I love the people who come to your show.
Okay.
I like to wait until the next time they plan to complete the task to ask them to make the change this time. So I understand why. I think I understand why you do that. And I'd like to hear you explain why in the comments. One reason why people might do that is that it'll be relevant and top of mind for them, right? And it gives you kind of an excuse to bring it up. Oh, I see you are about to do this. Can I ask you to change this thing?
Mm-hmm.
The potential from that is that having it very fresh helps them to immediately put your feedback into action. And there's also potential that they won't have enough time to prepare to make that change, really integrate it, ask enough questions, consider it over some examples. So I would take a look at the next time that comes up for you and the person that you're actually giving that feedback to, and find out if they are a person who needs more processing time in order to effectively integrate feedback.
Yes, because they may be one of those that need more time.
Yeah.
To consume it, marinate on
right.
it.
Listen, you and I, Rollis, we're not like that. I've given you feedback and an hour later, you have implemented it.
Yeah.
I'm not like that either because my brain works really quickly, but I've had to acknowledge that just because I'm like that and you're like that doesn't mean that everybody is like that, right? So I've had to make that adjustment myself and I'm still working on it, giving other people time to process. I'm like a right now person, so I'm really working on my patience in that area, but I wanted to offer that as a perspective, to tailor the feedback that you're giving to the person who's receiving it and what they need in order to best implement that and integrate it into their processes.
It's perfect. And the days when I was less self-aware, or I wasn't given feedback that I wasn't sensitive enough to other people who weren't into change like I was, I would throw stuff on them at the last minute. And I would needlessly frustrate them. Mm-hmm. And so I had to kind of learn that not everybody's like me. and just wants to constantly change stuff.
Isn't that interesting? As much as I wish that everyone was like you, Rollis, like we would never have a Joe, we would never have the people, or a Ben, we'd never have the people who just really love those spreadsheets. We would never have the people who are more deliberative when they think through decisions. Yeah. We would never have those balanced conversations. It really takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. And I think that that's, what we've been blessed with.
Yep, absolutely. And to be frank, if everybody in my company was just like me, we'd have a bunch of stuff that didn't work. Right? Because all these new ideas we started, but we didn't finish any of them.
Right. Like, thank goodness I know you have a Joanne. Who else do you have?
Oh, well, we got Joanne, Leah, Marissa, Amanda's on here. The list goes on and on. About 20 folks on the team. And about the one who thinks the way I do, I'm probably about the only one. Everybody else has different things they bring to the table that I think just helps make everything better,
Colleen is here. I'm here. You're a coach. I spoke with somebody else who's a coach today who I might be coaching. And I had to explain ahead of time, some people are stuck knowing something's not quite right, but not feeling confident enough, but I'm not the motivational speaker. I'm not going to be like the one to hold your hand and say, I'm sorry, that sounds rough. I really only work with the people who are ready to take action and who want to know what that action is.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
There are other coaches who are different, but I have to make that clear, right? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm the one who to work with. If you want someone to share your troubles with, who's empathetic, like, and loving and kind, but you're going to get a next step to take when you talk to me.
Yeah. One time, okay, this is when I first met you. I was on Shay's boot camp thing she was doing.
Right.
And you came on and you spoke. And then I think one of my questions was, hey, sometimes I get a little antsy when I see the numbers are low on my lives or whatever when I'm given the thing. And I remember this thing, you go, well, don't look at the numbers.
Right. Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Doctor's like, don't do this. I think that people get caught up in the wrong kind of measurement of whether an interaction was successful.
Yeah.
Right. And it's easy to do that, especially with interviews, especially when you get no feedback, especially when you don't hear back from people, or you meet with that executive and then they forgot your name by the Christmas party, and you assume then that interaction wasn't successful.
Right.
You personalize it, you internalize it, and you say, it must be me, I must be a failure.
Yeah.
But so many other things could have happened that have nothing to do with you.
Absolutely. So Chelsea, she says that makes sense. Great point. So she appreciated it. Now I got a longer one from Bo here. Bo has, I can already tell that Bo, she wants to connect with people who like to, or communicators that share lots of verbiage as well. Because this is what she values. I'm noticing that from her comments.
Nice. Good observation. Yeah, this is, I'll read this out loud. I maintain focus and attention, reaching depths of understanding, thus discovering critical details that others may miss. I would just suggest flipping those two pieces. Start with the thing that other people care about first, and then proceed to explain that you do it this way. So I discover critical details that others may miss by maintaining focus and attention, reaching depths of understanding. I uncover, look at you trying to be seen above this long comment. I uncover relationships between events or concepts that enable new possibilities and solve poorly defined problems. It sounds like I hear like connectedness as a strength, connecting the dots. And I hear restorative, the people who naturally see a solution to a problem. But poorly defined problems tells me that she's a communicator, that communication might be one of her top strengths. And she values accuracy as well, right? You get to the bottom until you really get what that actual thing is. I enjoy utilizing 100% of my energies to meet deadlines. Oh, God bless you. I do not. And solve urgent problems, making processes as efficient as possible. Well, you and Robert should be friends then. He values efficiency and relationship building. My natural inclination is to achieve goals, and I feel driven and satisfied, I'm hearing achiever, when I maintain high quality outcomes. Learner. I value opportunities, and I think that she's saying some more. This is a lot to say. Right? I think it's all accurate. I think it's great if you're writing a bio, like for a LinkedIn profile. But if you have somebody in front of you who's saying, tell me about yourself, their attention span is already gone after a few sentences. So it's all accurate, but prioritize the pieces that are really the most important to you, that are also the pieces that are most important to the people you're trying to communicate with.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then pick just those things.
She says it appreciates the feedback. TBI survivor.
Me too. Yeah. And have difficulty expressing in words. Well, you're doing beautifully.
What's the TBI? What is that?
Traumatic brain injury.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, mine was minor. It was not a minor concussion. It was concussion in 2017. And I still sometimes miss words. Like, I'll be like, the thing that when you're done with something, maybe it's paper, you crumple it up and you like toss it and it goes in the round thing that's in the corner. What's that thing called? Right. And I need to describe the situation around it or the use case in order to come up with the words, trash can or bin or right, like paper recycling or whatever.
You're like an onion. Every time
I
I
know.
come on here, we're just peeling another layer here. This is awesome. Okay, so Colleen, she says, but don't tell them you would like to give them feedback and then wait a few days. People stress
Oh,
big
good
time.
point.
That is
Good
good.
point.
I
Calling
like
back
that.
to what we were talking about earlier, right?
I
Where
like
you want to
that.
give people some time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. She says, I'll do the journey with you, but I don't do it for you. That's right. You're
Oh my
right.
gosh. Yes. I relate to that.
Okay, so how do we grow if we don't challenge our assumptions or behavior when things don't go the way we would like them to?
That's true.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's true.
like internalizing and questioning ourselves. So if you leave those questions unanswered, that's where you get into trouble. If you ask the questions in order to learn, rather than keeping the questions on a loop of doubt in your mind, that's where the difference comes in, and that's what leads to growth.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure it is a question, right? Like, what didn't go right? What could I have done better? Did I express my value? Did I share with them my understanding of their needs? Did I demonstrate through stories that I have a track record of addressing situations that they might come across in the next year?
So this one right here is from, I believe it's from Joe, and he was connecting with what Bo was saying. So see, right, so Bo, this is a prime example. Bo she's a nurse, Joe's a nurse, and he understands exactly where she's coming from. So it could be, who knows, maybe the nurse she's connecting with or interviewing with, assuming that's what type of position we're talking about, it may resonate with them what she's doing. But this is great feedback. Okay, I got a question for you. Ready?
Okay.
This is going to end us up. Now, how much? We started a little bit late. I don't know what's your time like.
I'm good.
Okay. So, guys, we'll go a few minutes over. If you guys have some questions you want to pop in there or continue the discussion. Okay, my would you rather question is, would you rather... Okay, let's think of a close work partner, okay? Someone who you have to work with on a daily basis.
Got it.
Okay. Would you rather this person be super sensitive to your feelings, or would you rather this person respect your intellect, but not both?
Respect my intellect.
Ooh, wow, that was fast.
Oh, 100%.
Guys in the comments, let me know what you think on that. Okay, so why did you pick that?
It's my responsibility to manage my own feelings. And it's my responsibility to manage, how much I personalize other people's communication. Most people have not taken Say Things Better courses yet. They've not done Verb Your Values, and I think that we should all change that. But in the meantime, I have to acknowledge that I live in the world that actually exists right now, and that a lot of the best value is going to come to me wrapped in a, icky box.
That's true. That is so true.
I'd rather have the stuff in the box that's icky than have like a pretty box that's empty.
Yeah, I've given that feedback on more than one occasion that, okay, I realized the way they said it was bad. There's probably some things that are inaccurate, but is there any value you can pull out of that? Is there anything you can pull out of that that's going to be constructive for you? If so, take it. Okay, so Colleen, she says, she says it helps me reflect on all the situations where they went really well to not really well. Yeah, that goes back to what Benjamin was talking about.
Self-assessment is a tool for growth, and giving yourself some feedback to take inventory of what you did or didn't notice. So what did you notice about body language? What did you notice about the quality of the questions they were asking you? Did you give them enough information about who you were? Did you give them enough information about what you've done? Did you get them excited about what the future might look like with you on their team?
Yeah, I love that.
How do you know? Did you get feedback in the room, in the moment? And I see also from Bo, my feelings are my responsibility to manage. Yeah. I saw somebody before ask how to connect with me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Lila Smith. You can also look for Say Things Better, and you can email lila@saythingsbetter.com.
Oh, yeah. Can you pull that up? Put that in the comments if you don't mind, Joanne, for us. So it'll be easy for us for folks to connect. And also, we have Lila tagged in here, so you can click on her in the main posting once this is done, and then connect with her there as well. But I would highly recommend her workshops. I think I've done about 3 of them. Yeah, I think I've done 3. 3 of them.
What do you want to do next? What workshop should I do next, Rollis?
Ooh, Every little, some of these things you came up with, I didn't even think about it before. Like you did the one on recommendations, right? LinkedIn recommendations. And it just didn't cross my mind recently because I hadn't done recommendations in a long time. So I don't really have a particular one because I know you're going to come up with something cool.
Okay.
I have to think about that for a second. Okay, how about this one? How about basically how to navigate conversations with someone who is your leader and you're looking to get to that next level? Like you either maybe looking for a new mentor in that leader. Or
absolutely. Creating valuable mentorship relationships would be a really good workshop.
Yes. There's my
I'm writing a note.
That is my contribution. Okay. I have another question I think it's good. Is what is your favorite act of kindness? Guys in the comments, let me know what you guys think.
Oh,
and also,
gosh.
if you're just joining, put in what you value most and what you bring to the table. And then we're going to help you come up with an idea on how you can formalize your, what to say when someone asks you. Tell me about yourself.
Okay. So my favorite act of kindness. Well, I want to know yours first because you always ask me these questions. I never get to hear your answers.
I think for me, it's a pretty simple one. Is if we're trying to decide on something, to do something, take some kind of action, something that I value is asking me for my thoughts, okay? Because I'm going to ask you for yours. So I feel like that's a kindness in of itself is, hey, so Ross, what do you think about this? I was thinking about doing such and such. What do you think about this? And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Another act of kindness would be getting me a cinnamon roll that's nice. It's a nice cinnamon roll or a nice cold can of Coke.
Coke? If you're going to have all that sugar, have the cinnamon roll. Make it worth it. Sponsored by Cinnabon.
Well, you know what? I've graduated a little bit. I don't do Cinnabon anymore because their calories are just through the roof. I get the little ones at the grocery store, and they still taste really good.
Yeah.
But they're not as bad as a cinnamon bun. Cinnabon, excuse me.
Okay. Listen, live your life. Oh, I like that reciprocal mentorship. Thank you, Colleen. I'm going to add that here in my note. I'm taking notes. Every time I come on a show with Rollis, I leave with my own new next thing to do, which I love. So that's one of the best acts of kindness someone can do for me, is give me a step to take. I give everybody else steps to take, give me a step to take. Give me something to think about. Rollis, you had sent me something that I'm still taking time to process and think about, an email that it was just of such high value. But it was a lot of information in one email. And I was like, I'm going to need some time to sit with this. But what it showed me was that you were so committed to our relationship that you took the time to reflect on what I was reflecting on and provide resources, provide perspective. You just really made me feel seen, heard, and valued by doing that. So I think that's one of the best acts of kindness. Even if, I didn't take any action on that yet, or not that you know of. I hope I let you know, but reading that just felt like, man, he really cares. He really cares. He sees what I'm talking about, what I'm focusing on, what my area of growth is. Yeah. And this was an act of service and an act of connection. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Wow, I appreciate that. Well, okay, so from my perspective, what I learned from that personally is that you also have to take in consideration where a person is. And for me, I felt like I probably gave too much at one time.
Oh, you did, but but that doesn't make it not an act of kindness.
That's true.
It was too much at one time for me to take action on or even to process at once. But the fact that you did it was an act of kindness that really was very meaningful to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. You actually did me a service today. You made me feel better. Thank you very much.
Oh,
for that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so here's one from Colleen. I think it was good. It's kind of similar to what I was saying about taking the time to really listen. So she's talking about more time to listen to what she has to say. And I'm thinking, okay, well, at least ask me what my thoughts or my take is on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that we have that in common, right? Like having people value our intellect, having people value what we do. Like the best compliment someone can give me is, I love your brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do love the way you think. So therefore, I guess by extension, I love your brain.
Yeah, thank you. It's my girlfriend just gave me this compliment. My Kristen Sherry has given me this compliment. Those are the things that we. I love that. I love being. Yeah. I love that when people get invested in not just the energy that they get from me, but from the information, from the steps, from the the way that I think through things. I want to be valued for the things that I value about myself.
Yeah.
So if we're talking also back to the subject of today, if we can, like how do you talk about yourself? In general, when you're sharing something about yourself, let it be the thing that you want to be known for. Don't just say for me to say, hey, I come in and energize a room, right? Come in and be like, I'm the person that can put your thoughts into words that you didn't even know were thoughts in your head. Like, that's the thing I want to be valued for. Yes. I bring the perspective that is respectful of the entire human race and all of the nuances and possibilities that allow you to take ownership and responsibility for what you can do to improve all of the communication in your life.
Lila, how did you find such a great thing to say at the end of this thing? Because I don't know if there's anything you could have said that was better than that.
Well, thanks.
Okay. So I appreciate that. First of all, you being on today, that was amazing. What do you want to be known for? Because there's been times I've said certain things just because I think that they might like that.
Right.
But I might even be good at it, but I don't want to be known for that.
Right.
So that folks who are watching, that's a great point right there. Well, I might need to watch that again. Okay, after this is over, watch that last part again. You
tell people the thing that if they could just copy paste it to someone else as a compliment of you, that you'd be thrilled. Make it easy to introduce you to other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that your brain doesn't exclude others, Lila. Oh, thank you, Colleen. To include is one of my top 3 values. So that compliment also really means a lot to me.
Okay, there's one last thing I have to highlight. I highlighted on the show. We have it in the comments, guys. The links to Lila, how to get in touch with her. But I need to find this comment that Bo had earlier. It was so invigorating. It's like, this is why we do this stuff.
Hey.
It was the one about how she's about to have an interview in a little bit.
That's right.
Anyway, I can't find it, but what I'll just say to that is, let's give Bo best wishes on her interview coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay. So
big love to Bo.
We're like your audience. We're just like we're like cheering you on, Bo. You're gonna do awesome today. And this is what Growth Monday is all about. It's helping other folks grow in their career, their business, anything they're trying to grow in. And I think you help us to do that, Lila. So keep on shining, keep doing what you do, Lila. Appreciate you being on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for all of you folks who did all the commenting, and those who were the little lurky-loos who didn't quite comment, but they were watching. We appreciate you too. Thank you very much. Come back and see us again next Monday. And so we're going to hit the end broadcast once we're safe, right? Can you do that for me, Joanne? Once you see us on LinkedIn and we've kind of finished our thoughts, go ahead and just hit the end button. It should be pretty quick, though.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm over